Greetings, students of the Force and acolytes of this channel and its great archives, and welcome back to the channel. I have been expecting you. It is commonly accepted that the Sith are the most evil species in all of Star Wars, being a race of dark side devotees completely loyal to the will of the dark side of the Force. But there are other diabolical species that also serve the dark side, or some that are just dark side in nature. And today, acolytes of the Force, curious beings that inhabit the galaxy, and skilled mercenaries of the Hutt Quartet, join us as we embark on a galaxy-wide search and purge the galaxy of all these evil species, deduct which one is the most vile, diabolical, and malicious, and confirm to you which one is the most terrifying species, and update our archives with this new information. Before we begin, I would like to notify you that if you're a Force-sensitive being that have not yet subscribed and indulged themselves in our archives, I implore you to subscribe and strike down the like button, as it is your destiny. Now, acolytes, let's begin with our top 7 ranking. Coming in at the number 7 position, we have the Hutts. The Hutts were a crime family mainly associated with Hutt space, a region in the Outer Rim that they controlled with an iron fist. The Hutts were a very notable crime species that is widely considered to be one of the most famous aliens in all of Star Wars lore. The most famous one of these Hutts was Jabba the Hutt, also known as Jabba Desolate Teal, who ruled the Hutt Syndicate for around 600 years, from his birth till his death in the year 4 ABY. The same year, the Empire was abolished and killed by Leia Organa, choked on his own chain. The Hutt had a natural affiliation to the dark side of the Force. However, they are not nearly as terrifying and cruel and malicious as the other ones and other beings that we have inhabiting our list, as even though they participated in illegal activities, when they were uncovered, they always paid their taxes and paid their debts to the Republic and the Empire to ensure that their grand crime syndicate could keep running and keep its profits rolling in. The Hutts, however, was still a malicious and dirty crime syndicate that had no problems turning on their benefactors if it meant getting a greater profit, and one of the reasons that I have them ranked number 7 on this list. The Hutts, however, are not nearly as diabolical as our next candidate on this list, which are the Dathomirians, also known as Dathomirian Zabraks. They were a species that inhabited the planet Dathomir, a planet steeped in the raw dark side energies, spirit and magic ichor of the Night Sister religion. Notable Dathomirians such as Asajj Ventress, Mother Talzin, Darth Maul, Savage Opress, and many others, including Merrin from the Jedi Fallen Order game. They were steeped in the dark side of the Force due to the magical ichor that swirled invisibly inside them, being able to create rituals. The Night Sisters, in my opinion, were more cunning, cruel, and conniving than the latent Night Brothers, who they subjugated to their rituals and tests, without thinking of their well-being or anything to do with their personality or trades. The Night Sisters had no qualms with turning on their benefactors if they treated their clan poorly, and notable Night Sister magics, such as the Chant of Resurrection and Old Ducker, as well as Mother Talzin, were cruel and cunning beings. However, they still showed compassion, as Asajj Ventress was able to show compassion when she fell in love with the fallen Jedi Master Quinlan Vos, and Mother Talzin valued Darth Maul, her son, above all others, upon being stripped away from him from birth, a horrifying fate to any mother. A ruthless candidate, but they still, despite their powers, cannot match up to their predecessors, the Ashkar. The Ashkar were a ruthless and vile species who primarily acted during the era of the Old Republic. Ruthless, vile, cunning, conniving. I could go on, as the list drags on forever, it seems. In short, these were very conniving and maniacal beings that I could not leave off this list. Many consider them to be the most evil, cruel beings and species that has ever inhabited the Star Wars galaxy. In terms of their society, their race's culture resembled that of a hive mind society, such as the Killiks, after bonding with Force sensitivity imbued by the Celestials. in terms of their grueling appearance. The Ashkar were a grey-skinned humanoid species with equine-looking features, including muzzles and degraded legs. They also had small, obsidian-black eyes. This species is one of my favourite from the old thing that stopped them from being higher on our list and analytics of the most dangerous and evil species in Star Wars was due to the fact that we do not actually know much information about their society, culture and religion, with only little information being provided from Wikipedia, the primary Star Wars database that I highly implore you checking out. The Ashkar are an incredibly violent species who enslave the galaxy and produce turmoil, vicious and conniving. However, they cannot match up to the warrior-forsaken Mandalorians, possibly the most famous candidates on this list. The Mandalorians were a ridiculously devoted to warlike warrior species who are widely considered to be the primary antagonists alongside the Sith to the Jedi Order. Instigating the Mandalorian Wars, the Mandalorians had Beskar steel armor, clad on their bodies that allowed them to be prevented from the Jedi's incredible force sensitivity and their lightsaber objects, allowing them to block and repel lightsaber blades depending on the purity of the Beskar. The Mandalorians were very warrior adherent, violent, and believed that only the strongest should lead their culture and society, with many Mandalorians joining together at the height of another's power to prove their superiority. Whichever one emerged victorious would lay claim to the Darksaber, a 1,000-year-old lightsaber descended from the line of Tar Vizsla, an ancient Mandalorian Jedi, the first one to walk both the warrior and peacekeeper paths of the Mandalorian and the Jedi. This would signify leadership over Mandalore, as most prominently displayed during the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, where we see Bo-Katan cries, desiring it back from Moff Gideon. However, the Mandalorians did not possess a dark side affiliation naturally, so they cannot match up to the Sith. More specifically, the Sith purebloods. They were a red-skinned species native to the planet Korriban, a planet so steeped in the dark side of the Force it was believed to have been manifested from its very being. The Sith purebloods have existed for hundreds of thousands of years, almost since the dawn of time, possibly and theorized and speculated to be a creation of the sun, the living embodiment of the dark side of the Force. The Sith purebloods is split into many different groups, such as the Masasi and their priests, and the Kings of Korriban. Notable Sith purebloods are King Adas, Tenebrae, Lord Scourge, and many others who were descended from the original line of Sith. These Sith ruled for many hundreds of thousands of years and imposed their tyrannical dominance over the galaxy, with King Adas under the unification of all the tribes on Korriban and the Darkside sects being able to repel the might of the Rikata, an immensely evil and diabolical Darkside naturally sensitive species in all of Star Wars. The Sith purebloods were naturally akin and attuned to that of the Force, and its dark side nature being almost second nature to them. They had the natural dark side affinity to impose their will on the galaxy and dominate it, but they were too afraid of people stealing their power, and only fell in at the number 3 spot on this list. Kicking off the number 2 is a name that I mentioned earlier, and a being that I hope to recover later in this channel's history and import their knowledge into the archives. The Rikata seemingly came out of nowhere, carving a path of destruction, establishing the Infinite Empire, an empire so powerful and so imposing. It was thought to have been the most powerful empire in all of Star Wars lore. The Infinite Empire took the galaxy by force, taking it out and preceding the Galactic Republic, dominating all living life forms in the galaxy and subjugating them to the rule of the Infinite Empire. The Rikata, originally enhanced by the Qua using superior Stargate technology. The Qua destroyed the Infinity Gate, preventing the Rikata from advancing their technology for some time. The Rikata also used the first prototype lightsabers in the form of pikes similar to the Jedi Temple Guards and the Imperial Royal Guards that Palpatine utilised, and the Shadow Guards that Palpatine also utilised during his tenure as a Sith Lord and Emperor of the Galaxy. The Rikata were brutal and most likely settled debates and subjugated their predecessors and evil beings to torture and engulfing them in horrors untold, manipulations of the dark side. However, even this Rikatan race, in all its brutality, cannot match up to the pure evil, power, and devastation of the Yuzong Vong, an otherworldly, other galaxy even species that was the most immune to the Force we have ever seen any being naturally be in all of Star Wars. The Yuzong Vong stripped the grip of the galaxy out of the New Republic and imposed a terrifying and almost apocalyptic regime, using their bio-crafted technology to take their grip out of the Galactic Republic, being able to dominate the new Galactic Republic and the New Republic after Return of the Jedi. However, all of this is legends, so I'll leave it up to you. The Yuzong Vong had bio-armor that prevented them from being hurt by Force powers, minus Force lightning, and few other Sith abilities. The Yuzong Vong were almost invulnerable to nearly everything, with their tyrannical power being nearly unopposed. When they invaded the galaxy, it was stated that they would have lost. However, the New Republic used their tactics wisely and were able to defeat the Vong, eventually securing a peace treaty afterwards, showing their warlike ways had ended. The Yuzong Vong possessed bioweaponry and were almost impossibly to kill for any common soldier. It was stated that one Yuzong Vong was worth 100 clone troopers, these clone troopers being genetically modified after Jango Fett. The Yuzong Vong unquestionably had the most powerful empire in all of Star Wars lore, even surpassing the likes of the Rikatan Infinite Empire in its natural dark side sensitivity. The Yuzong Vong existed outside the Force itself, but were unquestionably the most evil and conniving candidates to ever grace this list. Well, my friends, that was the entire list of the top 7 most evil creatures and naturally gifted species in all of Star Wars, the Yuzong Vong prevailing at the top, with the Rikatan coming in second and the Sith purebloods skidding into first place. Tell me if you like these naturally gifted dark side beings and would like to cover them in the future. These characters are some of my favourites, and I love ranking these videos. If you enjoy them, please be sure to strike down the subscribe button and ascend to the rank of Master. With that out of the way, my friends, I hope you do not wander into any lone Yuzong Vong as you embark on your new journey in the galaxy. Goodbye, my friends, and I'll see you in a galaxy far, far away.